What's going on, guys, and welcome into another video. Today we are talking about the Miss, Odyssey, and the Ample Carrack. I'm going to talk to you guys today about which ship I personally think is better. And remember, guys, this is just subjective reality. This is not objective. This is just me giving my opinions based on what I think the game currently is and what the game could potentially be in the future. So let's get right into it, man. We're talking about the Odyssey and the Carrack. And the first thing I'm going to do is, as always, I'm going to look at the size of the ships because size does matter, guys. It matters a lot. So we can obviously see that the Misk is bigger. It looks like a very, very big freelancer. One of the things that right away you're going to notice with a ship like this is any ship that has wings attached to them could potentially be shot off, making the ship unflyable. And we kind of know this already with the Freelancer series. Pretty much if you fight a Freelancer, shoot the engines off, it's going to make the ship very ineffective. So if you want to get an Odyssey, that is one of the things you have to deal with. But I think overall, that is just one small negative. If you get to that point with a ship like this, then you're obviously doing it wrong because this ship is going to have capital size shields. And we're going to get into the specs and compare them in just a second. So I got Fleet Yards pulled up for you guys so we can take a look at the ship specs. And we can see here, we got the Odyssey, we got the Carrack. We can see the Odyssey is obviously the bigger ship. And we can also see the Carrack here. It's also a little bit cheaper. But the big number here that I want people to look at, other than the price, is the Carrack does beat the Odyssey out when it comes to cargo. When it comes to that, the Carrack really is kind of like unmatched in that category, especially in the exploration ship space, because it essentially doubles as a cargo ship, and that's important. I've been hearing rumors that the Carrack is supposed to have some type of modularity, but I think if they make the Carrack modular, they can also make, the Odyssey modular out the gate as well. So I don't think the modularity necessarily is going to beat out the Odyssey. In my opinion, I just think the Odyssey is going to be a fantastic exploration ship. Now, we have the minimum crew. So the minimum crew technically for a Carrack is 4 persons. The max crew is 6. This says 1, but I suspect that number would change. I think when this ship was announced, a lot of the things they wanted to put into the game weren't in the game just yet. So I do expect the Odyssey to be a multi-crew ship, especially with the way they're trying to bring multi-crew online next year in a limited form. Just if you think this ship's going to be a solo guy's wet dream, I just don't see that being the case. But I could be proven wrong by that. So the next thing I want to talk about here is the components. Okay, the components are important. And what I see with the Odyssey is it has capital size components for the coolest power plants and shields versus something like the Carrack that only has large. So if you're going into like more hostile environments with your exploration ship, I feel like the Odyssey is going to be the better choice for that because you're going to obviously have more protection. You're going to get those nice you're going to get nice 4 capital size shields to help better protect your ship. So I feel like that is important, especially if you're, like I said, if you're going to be doing a lot of exploration in hostile places when the exploration comes online. Even if you're just doing stuff in Pyro, just having 4 capital size shields is going to be great. And the next thing I want to talk about is the weapons and utilities. Okay, so this thing is going to have 4.3 missile racks. So potentially you could put smaller missiles on there to have even more missiles. 3 turrets with size 5 weapons with 2 size 5 weapons on them. That is huge. The Carrack does have size 4 main turrets with the Rhino repeaters on it, and the Rhino repeaters put in work. Okay, I'm not going to sit here and act like Rhino repeaters are bad or anything like that. But when you talk about weapons, having those size 5s is a little bit better and it could potentially let you fight larger ships with those size 5 weapons. So the Odyssey beats the Carrack out in shielding. It beats the Carrack out in weapons. And there's one big area that the Odyssey also beats the Carrack in, and this is huge. I would suspect that the Carrack will at some point get a tractor beam, but currently right now it doesn't have one. I know the Carrack is going through like a gold pass, it's going through a refresh. They're trying to get all the doors to work. They're trying to get that front armament thing to work, and it's been challenging for them. But I do expect them to figure that out. But I don't think that is enough to say that I want a Carrack over the Odyssey. And here's the reason why, guys. I'm gonna break this down for you. The reason I would want an Odyssey over a Carrack is because the Odyssey right here will be able to mine and make its own fuel, and that is huge. In addition to everything else, it's going to have the med bed like the Carrack does. The only thing you're missing out on is cargo. But I feel like that's neither here nor there, because me personally, I don't do a whole lot of cargo stuff. The only time I do cargo stuff is if I'm looting other people's cargo. And most of the time, the things that we're looting are not going to have 456 SCU of cargo stuff. I really haven't seen, I haven't done Wake of Disaster since they nerfed it, but with the ERT missions, I haven't seen any Carracks that are going to be running around with cargo. So I've only seen 890 jumps because they have capital shields, and I've only seen like Caterpillars, A2s, M2s, and C2s, and Starfarers. So you're not going to have a ship that's going to have a ton of cargo stuff on it. Besides like the Caterpillar, it's going to be like the largest one where you're going to find a bunch of cargo, and also the C2. But you're not going to find anything that has this level of cargo on it. And that's not to say like the Carrack is bad in any kind of way, because the Carrack is going to have unique gameplay. It's supposed to have like drones. It's supposed to have like all the scanning capabilities and all that kind of stuff. So the Carrack will be good, but I think for my style of gameplay, I would much prefer something like the Odyssey, just because if you want to have a ship that can stay out and do like long-term deployments, you can just simply go out and make your own fuel. Now that is going to introduce more gameplay to you, and it's going to be more time consuming. But if we're talking about places like Pyro that are not really all that safe, the ability to go out there and make your own fuel is huge. To not need to go back to a station is huge. That's big for me. And I think that is the most important thing. And I also go out on a limb and say this. If the Odyssey was in game right now, it would be more useful than the Carrack, in my opinion. I just think the way that the ship is laid out, I think the way that the guns mostly face forward. With the Carrack, you have weapons that are on the sides. You do have forward-facing weapons, but pretty much all the weapons on the Odyssey they can face forward, backwards, up, down, left, right. And with the Carrack, I just don't like the idea of your turrets only being able to shoot like this way, you know? Because like realistically, if you're in a combat scenario, I want to look where my pilot is, and we can all lock onto the same thing, and we can all shoot the same thing. And I feel like you're going to get more of that with this ship, especially with these two turrets kind of being offset from each other, and you got this extra turret down here on the bottom. Now they could add more stuff to this ship, which I would expect them to do, because like I said, when they initially probably designed or announced this ship, a lot of the things that they wanted to do weren't in the game yet. But with a lot of these systems coming online, we already have tractor beams. The Arastra is probably going to come out first. It's probably already going to have the onboard refinery. So, or it's going to have the onboard refinery. Not probably, it is. All those different systems they're going to know how to make it work, and it's just going to be easier for them to do it in a ship like this. And maybe they can add a couple of extra things too, like maybe the Odyssey can do a little bit of refueling too. Maybe you can refuel other ships as well, So I feel like the Odyssey is going to be the choice for me. Let me know down in the comments below which ship that you would choose. I know there's a lot of Carrack stands out there, but I feel like the Carrack in the current way the game is played right now is a little bit useless. And I feel like if we had the Odyssey, as a choice, I feel like it would be a lot more useful in the current game because you could essentially like do more stuff with it. And that's going to be my choice, guys. That's going to be my video today. Again, let me know down in the comments what ship that you would take over the Carrack and the Odyssey. I got my choice. Let me know yours. That's going to be my time. I thank you for yours, and I'll see you guys in the next video. Peace.